My name is Seth Roig. I'm an insurance agent with MidState Insurance. I've been here for 11 years. I got into the insurance world 11 years ago because my aunt came to me. I was working at Dot Foods in a warehouse, and she said, "Hey, I'm not going to be here forever. I need to retire, and I got to have somebody that'll continue my business." And so I said, well, "Why not?" You know, she's been pretty successful in her life, and I wanted to duplicate that. So she said, "Let's give it a shot." And I said, I like talking to people. I can sell a product once I know it. So she says, "How about we start at the beginning of January 2014, I think? No, 15. 14, something like that. Anyway, actually, I got my license in 2014. And so I decided I would do it part-time, just kind of feel how it is on if I am successful selling insurance. So I started doing Dot Foods, getting my friends, family on the weekend, and seeing if I could make any money. Wasn't too bad working 1-2 days a week. It was $500 a month. It was pretty sweet. And then I decided that doing it part-time wasn't going to be what people needed as an insurance agent. They needed somebody that was going to be able to answer their phones anytime. Fires don't happen on a house at, let's just say I worked Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So let's say some fire happened on a Thursday at 8 o'clock at night. I wasn't going to answer the phone for them. So I decided, you know what? I needed to make this a full-time commitment and see where this really goes. So I decided to put my 2 weeks in at Dot Foods, come into MidState, and I just started cold calling, doing a lot of stuff. Got a lot of no's in the beginning, but I just kept going at it. Okay, so that's actually a good question. So why would I choose to come to MidState versus going to work at State Farm or anything like that? So MidState was a family-owned business, local, not a name brand State Farm that just sells one company. MidState prided themselves on being local, helping the community, doing a lot of stuff with the schools and everything else. So that's really what kind of tied me closer to that, and I wanted to continue a family business and help the legacy go, I guess. So then being an independent agent, you're able to sell multiple companies, not just one. So when insurance, like right now, for instance, State Farm, it took a massive increase on their homeowners policy, 21% back in August. And so when that happens, State Farm has nothing to do besides change your coverages, raise your deductibles, which is also another thing they've had happen, is their wind and hail deductible just changed to 1%. So with us, we have one carrier, let's say Erie. They start taking some massive rate increase. We can actually shift you to another carrier, let's say Auto Owners, and maybe they have really good rates right now. We can quote them, quote Progressive, different companies, and not just stick to one company like State Farm or a Farmers or Allstate for that matter. Anything like that. So when the market gets hard like it did last 2 or 3 years, we have other things to look at than just one carrier and change coverages that hurt you. Because at the end of the day, we're protecting people's livelihoods, families, businesses, and everything. So we want to make sure you're treated right. So I guess that ties back to being a small business. You have your 8 to 4:30 job here, but we're not corporate. Like, we're not going to sit out there. You have to come in suit and ties. We understand that family comes first, so you're going to have kids that become sick, Christmas parties, programs, things like that even happen during the day. So we love to work with it because we want to be engaged in that family atmosphere in the community. So our people are going to be able to leave, go do those things, come back, do your job, help what needs to be done. That's how we've built a team here, like a family culture. So with one person steps out or is falling down, the other one picks up the slack. so that we can get things done. So I am in both offices. I'm trying to be more in Pittsfield because when I first started, I was in Jacksonville 99% of the time. I mean, I live in Pittsfield, but I travel to Jacksonville every day. So I try to make my appointments back then, the morning or late afternoon, to be here in Pittsfield, because if I have to wait till noon or something like that, it kind of messes up my day because, it's a 40-minute drive to Jacksonville. So I personally I'm trying to be more engaged in both sides here, Pittsfield and Jacksonville, as often as I can. I mean, I'm now in Pittsfield right now, currently Thursdays and Fridays. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm going to Jacksonville. Thursdays and Fridays, I'm here in Pittsfield. So being an insurance agent isn't just a normal 8 to 5 job or 9 to 5 job either. Honestly, it's got to be a passion. You got to love what you do. You got to be there and care for people. That's one thing that is the hardest when it came for my family work-life balance. To this day, it's very hard for me to separate work and life, because my job is protecting people's livelihoods, and being there when somebody needs something. In my 11 years, I mean, I've seen 4 or 5 house fires, and unfortunately, I've even had a family loss in one of those. And getting those calls is, I wouldn't say just as bad as being a paramedic working on those scenes, when somebody's in a car accident or something like that, but it's still hard because, they become family to you and you're talking to them on a daily, coming in, talking to you. I mean, I have people coming in. I just got a phone call Friday that somebody brought me a deer jerky or deer salami. They put it in the refrigerator for me. So on Monday when I come in, I've got deer salami, but just being in the insurance realm, it's just not like a bank job that you go home and it's over. For me, as the position I took as an agent, I wanted to be accessible 24/7. I think that's one thing that actually separates me from most, because a lot of agents, especially like a State Farm or something like that, they aren't handing out their cell phone. I do. I give them, all my business cards has my office phone and my cell phone. It's not a work phone. It's a cell phone. It's my personal cell phone. So if they need anything, shoot me a text, give me a call. I mean, I do have a life outside of work. So, I mean, I obviously say respect that. So, I mean, my kids have birthdays. They have Christmas programs that I'm going to. I'm going to step away and be in that father figure that I need to be, but I also want to be there to protect people. So it is one thing that's very hard for me to do, is balance between the two. And my wife can speak of that. If anybody knows my wife, she will tell you she probably hates my job. But that's the difference. I love mine. She hates mine. So
Meet in the middle.
yeah, there's no middle meeting in this one. You got to be there. So, Yeah, I mean, we're expanding. I mean, the growth in the business that I have seen is MidState as a whole, with policyholders and everything else. I mean, we've done a lot of advertising, branding. I mean, Dalton, who's behind the camera, you don't see him yet, but he's our marketing guy. He's doing a lot of pushing. I mean, our Facebook has blown up a lot more than it has. I mean, quotes coming on. We've had people reaching out from Chicago, Wisconsin, which is not typical. I mean, for a small town in Pittsfield of 4,000 people, I mean, getting seen in Chicago. I mean, of all things, why Chicago, right? So, I mean, our growth is getting there. We are actually going to be expanding, opening an office in Macomb to reach out a little bit further in a different direction. I mean, when MidState started in 2008, the only offices they had was in Pittsfield and Griggsville. And then about 2 years in, they did the Jacksonville location. But when Glenn decided to retire, Griggsville shut down. That's where he was from. So, but now we're set to grow, help more people. I think with the Macomb aspect, being able to reach out to Macomb, I mean, we're going to be hiring more and more people. we're looking to have another CSR here in Pittsfield. Agents anywhere that you're, somebody that thinks they want to step in that role and help people like I do, 24/7. Kind of work as you want. If you decide you want to sleep till 10 or 11 o'clock, then you start to work till 7 or 8 o'clock at night. That's your kind of thing. Maybe an agent is okay for you because you can make your own hours and, make as much money as you want or as little as you want. So, but with that, the branch in Macomb, I think that just brings in another realm. We haven't been over in that direction. Pittsfield, small town. Jacksonville, that's pretty big. That's probably 19,000 people, but Macomb, I think that's about 8,000 or 9,000 people, but that's still a different direction, about an hour and a half away, or hour, 10 minutes away or so, that we haven't been able to reach before, and we're getting there now. We need to get bigger and bigger, so. So to be a CSR here at MidState, obviously anybody we hire, we would like them to be licensed within 60 days, which means getting their property and casualty license. We do give a little bit of perk, a little bit more pay if you decide you want to go further and do your life and health license. But we would help, with training, anything you want to do. Even the cost to obtain some licensing, if you need to in the beginning, we can help with that. Even a reimbursement if you would like to even get your license before you join the team, because 60 days is fast in this world. A lot of people think, oh, it's 2 months. Well, when you start working and see what we deal with on a daily, days are fast. So, and then you have your weekends that you want to do your own thing. So just committing yourself to getting that license maybe before you join the team, or at least get the training done before, and then, come here, we'll reimburse you for that, and go far. But once you have obtained your license, you'll answer phones, help deal with somebody gets a new vehicle, deal with that, make payments, things like that. Not really a stress-driven job. It's more just interacting. If something's complicated, there's a problem, I'm going to step up and I'm going to fill in what needs to be done. As a CSR, you'll also help file claims. You're not going to be there writing the checks for them, do anything like that. You're just going to sit behind the desk, answer the calls, explain any coverages that may need, if there's anything. But like I said, we have a full team here that if you don't know that answer, somebody will step up and help you. We'll find out what it is. But as advancing through to get into other positions here, a CSR is just a starting point, to getting to where you maybe want to be in life. So when I started 11 years ago, I got jumped into being an agent from the very beginning because I have another job and different things like that. With us expanding, there's always opportunity for advancements within our company. So, you start as a CSR, you get fully licensed, then you're going to become like a account manager, where, I guess you can say you're a manager. So you're going to take on more responsibility. You're going to be filling in where there's a problem, like I would be. You'd step up, and then I wouldn't have to fill in there. That would be your responsibility. And then, later on, after that, working on renewals. That would be another thing you could possibly do, because retention is also important within the business. We can't just write business and allow it to walk out the door. So we always try to stay on top of the game. When somebody's renewals come up, 90% of the reason people shop in the insurance world is rate. So if we are ahead of that 30, 45 days in advance, we're doing the shopping for you before you get your renewal, because we already see that it went up. You're not going to shop because we're going to call you and tell you, hey, your rate just went up. But fortunately for you, we have more than just one company. And we took the initiative, quoted it, and was able to save you maybe $50 a month, whatever the case may be. On the CSR role, once you become the account manager, there might be another time that you want to say, you know what? I want to be an agent. I don't want to sit in the office 8 to 4:30, do my, wait for somebody to call me, do things. I want to be my own boss, let's say. Well, that may be because you have a bigger drive than somebody else. So you'll want to be an agent. At that point, you can make some commission, come and go as you please, make as big or little amount of money as you want. So yeah, so MidState here, I think we've structured it a way to help with that growth. As we explained earlier, that we have grown. I mean, when I first started in 2014 to where we are today, it's probably 2.5 times the size that it was when I first started. And to support that change, besides building a great team behind here and a community we've got here, we've also structured MidState probably other ways that maybe a State Farm or Allstate or Farmers doesn't do. We have departments that strictly are personal lines, which are your home and your autos. We have a guy that's just all he does is commercial lines. We have another person that is solely on farm and crop. We have another one that's just life and health. So you come through this door, we have somebody that is tailored specifically for what you need. So whether it's, hey, I have a life or a health question, well, somebody that you walk into a State Farm, they'll be like, well, we don't do health insurance here, or, oh, that person's out of the thing. I mean, we've got multiple people that are licensed, but we have one person that's specifically for that specific line of insurance. So, I mean, you would have no question. You'll have somebody that's going to be here that knows what they need to know to help you with anything you need when you walk through that door. Yes, so this is something I fight every day in the insurance world. With the younger generation, a lot of them are going online now and not wanting to talk to a local person. That's where things can majorly go wrong in your life. Every person is different stage of their life. When I was 18, I didn't have anything to my name. When I got older, I've got kids, a house, a vehicle, things like that. I have assets that I would hate to lose in the event that an accident or something happens. So when you come through this door, you hear the thing on Liberty Mutual, buy what you need or whatever. Like, that's exactly what you're doing when you go online. You're buying the minimum amount of coverage that you need to be on the road, not knowing what that truly means. And here at MidState, that's what we try to do, is we try to educate and protect with what you have. So doing just what you need is not always the best thing. Obviously, that is better than having no insurance at all. But at the end of the day, we're all humans. We all have feelings. So if you go the bare minimum of coverage on everything, not only are you going to lose potential assets, but you're putting somebody else in danger of losing their belongings. And nobody would like to see somebody ruin their life over something you caused, So you get in a car accident, put them in a hospital. Well, because you don't have enough insurance, because you decided to choose the minimum amount of coverage you could possibly do, that person's now losing their house because your insurance ran out and they have to use everything they've got to pay for those hospital bills. So here at MidState, we just want to make sure that you're properly covered. I mean, sometimes that means paying $10, $20, $30 more a month, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. So typically, one thing the biggest concern would be you ask first if somebody rents or owns their home. Because obviously if they rent, they maybe aren't in a different position in their life where somebody that owns a home has already, put a down payment in, done things like that. But once you sit down there, you talk to them about that. I mean, obviously we want to be a family, so we also get to know, are you married? Do you have kids? Where are you at in your life? Once you do that, obviously, if you do have insurance, I usually typically try to ask what kind of coverage you currently have. A lot of people just say it's full coverage, liability, whatever. So we'll go through that. Well, then at the end of the day, when I present the quote, I don't ever just go straight to the point of giving you the state minimum $25.50 on the bodily injury. So what I do is I present the quote with what you've what I think you should have, which is typically 100,000/300,000 on the bodily injury. Now there are times it needs to be more, but that's where when I get down and sit and talking to you and you say you own a home, you've got 2 vehicles, 3 vehicles, maybe you have a farm, you have different things like that. We'll talk about having more coverage, and that's when I sit down. After we've built a quote originally, I'll present it to you, and then I will go over, this is the bodily injury, this is what it does. It protects you if you cause the accident, breaking it down, property damage, things like that. If somebody is kind of bulking at the price, I show them the circumstances of, hey, look, you can cut this in half and give you half the coverage and save yourself $20 a month. But this is, once again, what you're risking. And a lot of people don't realize that if they do get in a car accident and don't have enough coverage, your paycheck from your job can be garnished. They can make you sell your home and take equity out of that house to pay for somebody's injuries that you may have caused. So we'll go through all that. So there's a couple of things. Home and auto discount bundling. When you own a home or rent a house, you can get multi-policy discount. That's probably the biggest discount that applies when you're dealing with insurance, even life insurance. So the more policies you have within an agency, whether like us, we sell multiple companies. So because you have a life insurance policy with Erie, we can still sometimes give discounts when you have your auto and your home with auto owners. We'll have that. So having multiple carriers rather than just one does open the door to having multiple discounts that's possible. Obviously, to normally get a home and auto discount, you have to have the same carrier for both home and auto. Well, I have 3 carriers that if I have your auto insurance within our agency and they have your home, they still give you a 10% discount or 5% discount because you have your stuff within our agency. So multi-policy, yes, with the same carrier, but also multiple carriers within our agency still gives you that discount even if it's not the same company. So another discount that's typically applied that people don't think about is miles driven a year. So somebody that works from home has far less miles driven a year. So they do get a discount where, some people that drive a lot more maybe pay a little bit more because the risk is there. Other discounts that would apply is education. So some people may not ask, do you have an associate's, a bachelor's, or anything like that? They'll just put a high school diploma on there just to move on. But really, there is a little bit more discount when it comes to education. Other discounts that is applied would be if you're an EMS, first responder, there's the discounts for that. Military, Geico's a carrier that we have that provides a pretty good discount if you in a military service, something like that. But those are pretty much the gist of the discounts that are applied when we're working through it. So with MidState being an independent agent, like I said, we sell multiple carriers and multiple products. So with us at MidState, we have licensing in multiple states. I couldn't tell you exactly how many states we're in, but let's just say 19 different states. But so you may have a farm in Colorado. A typical agent from State Farm that you walk through around here may say, I can't help you. They have to push you to the next agent. Whereas us, we can go into multiple states and sell you a product so that you can come through the door and I want to speak to Seth or whatever. I mean, I personally may not be licensed within that state, but we have somebody within our team that can help you service that so you don't have to go somewhere and talk to somebody that you don't know. I mean, it's going to be somebody in our team, but I mean, I would have to say we're probably in 19 different states, kind of like Louisiana, some states like that, Colorado, obviously Illinois, Missouri, Iowa, things like that. So we're kind of everywhere. Yeah. So unfortunately, as you kind of alluded to, that rates differ state to state. Actually, rates unfortunately change based off of zip codes. I mean, as little as zip codes, not just state driven anyway. But not every carrier is in every state. But if they are in that other state, unfortunately, there are laws and regulations to every state. So anytime you move to another state, whether it's from Illinois to Missouri, once you do that, you do have coverage automatically when you move to that state, but you will eventually need to obtain a new policy in the state that you reside. But that, like I said, doesn't mean you always have to switch insurance agencies. It's maybe a company or so, but as long as you're dealing with an independent agent like us, most likely we'll be able to move you to a different policy, whether it's the same company or not, to help you continue your life in that other state. As I said earlier, we do have it broken down by different lines. So we have the home and the auto, the life insurance, the farm, the crop, the life, the health. We also sell PRF. Our top carriers that we sell within MidState, I would say, is probably Erie, Auto Owners, Progressive, Cincinnati, Madison Mutual. I'd say those are probably our top 5 carriers. I mean, we have some other ones, obviously like Nationwide, things like that, but that just doesn't work in our area like it would in maybe Chicago. So, but that's why it's nice to have an independent agent, because what happens, these name brands, that the Nationwides and maybe Geico or Progressive works really well up in Chicago, but when you come down here into Midwest, it doesn't work that well. Okay, that's a good question. A lot of people think we are the carrier, for instance, but we really aren't. We are the middleman that knows their product. I guess you can kind of sells their product. So we know their product, we sell it, we explain all the coverages to you, but at the end of the day, the carrier that we are selling you the product for is the one that writes the paychecks. So they pay us to service their policyholders. So if you have questions about a claim, questions about coverages, things like that, we step in so that they're not, bombarded with all these questions. Kind of helps. That's our job, is to educate you, to know what you're doing, so you don't have a question come claim time. You know it's covered. There's not a question if there is. So when people go online, you don't know what you're buying. So that's where us as agents, it's kind of nice that we know what we're educated, we're trained, we're licensed to sell and to explain what these coverages are. So we're the middleman between the carrier. At the end, for the claims process, we're here to help you. We can't write checks, but we're here to help you navigate through that. So if you have a hard time getting a hold of your adjuster, we have supervisors that we can get a hold of to help maybe push that along. We might even be able to get you in a rental car, get a reservation number for Enterprise to get you in a rental car while your car just got totaled and you can't drive and you have to go to work. Just because you had a car accident doesn't mean life stops and you don't have to go to work. Every day you still have to go to work. And so we try to step in, help push it along to get you in that rental car faster. Now, there are times that things are out of our control. Not saying it's the policyholder's problem either, but sometimes adjusters go on vacation. They got assigned your claim, and then at that point, it's all automated at first, right? You file a claim, it gets sent to an adjuster. Well, not every day is that adjuster going to be working. They're typically a Monday to Friday kind of person. So, but they also have lives with 2 weeks of vacation. So sometimes there has been times that I have seen that an adjuster got assigned a claim a day or two before they went on vacation, and they weren't able to completely finish that, and you're kind of stuck in limbo. If you get a hold of us, because we don't know that, obviously, because at the end of the day, we did our job, we set the claim up, we usually sit back and let the adjusters handle it from there. But that's where you need to be transparent with us and let us know that the adjuster's not getting a hold of you, or you're having a hard time getting a hold of them. We have connections where we can reach out to supervisors and get in touch with somebody to kind of push it along. But there are times that claims don't go like they should, especially in today's world where there's a lot of undisclosed drivers. So Progressive, Allstate, State Farm, a lot of them are getting far more strict when it comes to operators. A lot of people don't want to put their 16-year-old drivers on a policy. Well, I get it. It's taking an increase of $200 to $300 a month. But at the end of the day, the reason it's taking a $200 or $300 increase is because of the likelihood that a claim is going to happen. They know that. The inexperienced driver, those are what's going to do it. So you don't want to pay that premium, so you don't put that person on there. Well, insurance companies are catching on and getting kind of fed up with it. So things I have also seen in my career is claims being denied because they are not adding their 16-year-old, 17-year-old, or even 18-year-old kids because they want to save money. Well, why is it fair for you to save money and get a claim paid out if you're not paying the proper premium for a risk that the insurance company did? So the insurance companies are now fighting back and saying, you're not adding your driver. Why do we need to pay the claim? So I have seen, well, these people aren't helping me. Well, at the end of the day, I'm getting a phone call from the carrier stating they just discovered there's an 18-year-old driver that moved in the household and they aren't getting added to the policy. Well, then they come back and say there's permissive use, isn't there? I'm like, yes, there is. However, if they have a regular use to the vehicle, they need to be on the policy because that is a risk. That person is a risk that's driving that vehicle, and they need to be on the policy. And if they aren't, there is a chance that the policy or the claim gets denied. This is fun. We're going to continue to try to do stuff like this to help with education, not only coverages, claims, things, experiences. Maybe, there might be something in the future that I kind of go into detail of claims that I've had. Horrible stuff. But anyway, nonetheless, like I said, we'll continue to do this. If you guys want to reach out for a quote, even a job opportunity, we have offices in Jacksonville and Pittsfield. We also have one coming in Macomb. Always open to expanding our family. So please reach out. Pittsfield's phone number is 217-285-1300. Jacksonville, 217-243-6800. But we're here Monday through Friday at that number, but I'm always one click away or a text away from calling me on the weekends if you need something. Don't forget to like and subscribe.